Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all, and welcome to another episode of Sapient Thoughts, where we discuss theophilosophical issues, we answer some of the contentions that are brought against Islam, and we offer a robust case for the veracity and beauty of Islam as a way of life, inshaAllah ta'ala. My name is Anwar Arafat. We are in the last episode of our case study, inshaAllah ta'ala, where we are highlighting a problematic hadith. This is the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ supposedly says that women are intellectually and religiously deficient. But in fact, as we saw in our reread, that this is actually a reduction in responsibility and not a statement of fact. And the Prophet ﷺ is highlighting a paradox. Remember, throughout the entire Sunnah and in the Quran, women have been praised time and time again. In fact, there are so many women throughout our Muslim history who have excelled beyond so many other men, right? In terms of their intellectual capacity, in terms of their religiosity, etc. Plus, remember, the word deen does not entail a deficiency in their iman, their faith, or their taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the contrary, it actually makes no mention of that, which means that women can actually outpace many men in terms of their iman, in terms of their taqwa. It's talking about a reduction in responsibility. Just like her responsibility in terms of praying and fasting is reduced, her responsibility in terms of testimony and being a witness is also reduced. Okay? Because testimony at the end of the day is a responsibility and not an honor. And this is in a day and age when most contracts were verbal, the importance of a testimony was that much higher. Nowadays, because we write them out, things have changed a little bit. The whole in whole, now looking at the big picture, the Prophet ﷺ, in saying these, wants women, he's encouraging women to step up to the plate. He's saying, look, you have a reduction here, you have a reduction here, but you need to fill in the gap and push yourself to excel. Don't just sit idly by. Don't wait for other people to give charity when you are not giving. Don't wait, those opportunities when you're not praying or you're not fasting or you're not witnessing or testifying in public, etc., that you should just sit idly by and do nothing. Rather, he's actually encouraging them to do more and to push themselves and to excel. And this is really what the hadith is highlighting that I think is lost on a lot of people. The Prophet ﷺ is also, when he mentions this reduction that exists for women, is that he's highlighting a paradox, that if this were the case, how can a woman overwhelm and outsmart an intelligent man? And this he's saying, obviously, that women are in fact very intelligent and they're very smart, and they're smart in their own way. Our intelligence, the differences between men and women, by the way, are not in quantity. They're in the areas that we focus on. Women typically focus on certain areas where they're very smart in, where men typically focus on areas where they're very smart in. Now, there's exceptions to these rules all the time. There are women who excel in areas that are typically dominated by men, and there are men who excel in areas that are typically dominated by women. There's exceptions to every rule. And we have to mention this, inshallah ta'ala, so that everybody is clear on this. In this hadith, as we said, the Prophet ﷺ is highlighting a paradox. This is why he's making the statement ironically and is not actually a blanket judgment. Reading this hadith incorrectly has led to many incorrect things. There was one, I found a scholar online who gave a whole talk on how women are supposedly deficient intellectually using biology. And he was using outdated science. When we checked all of it, I did my own research on this. And when I checked, all of the scientific supposedly discoveries that he was quoting were actually outdone. All of them were old and all of them have since been debunked. But he was using them to show, like, subhanAllah, look, women are deficient intellectually. And it was like, no, they're not. This isn't the case. But unfortunately, that's out there. And I'm telling people this so that they're aware that you will find things like that that are out there, that are very problematic. Remember, that's not representative of Islam. That's representative of the opinion of one person. By the way, everything that I'm telling you now is on me. If I make a mistake, it is on me. It's not Islam's fault, it's not God's fault or the Prophet's fault. It's my fault. This is why many people will say this as disclaimers in their lectures. And by the way, if people have issue with anything that I've said, etc., please share it. It's not a problem. I'm open to being corrected, inshallah ta'ala. Our purpose is to actually better ourselves, right? Problems can arise from this hadith. Husbands have weaponized them. Women have felt that they were done unjustly. And the Prophet ﷺ here is merely encouraging them to do good. This is why ultimately What we want to do is to do good in our lives, to spread that good, to focus on our hereafter. And in fact, this hadith does not put women down, but I believe actually puts them up and shows how Islam has accommodated them and is encouraging them to do more, inshallah ta'ala, and be, standing on their own spiritual foothold. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He helps us and guides us. Until next time, when we see you later, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.